Diagweeb Galera Cordia agus Tá Fáilte Road. Welcome to Be My Guest with me, Mary Honan, on Lear Media TV, supporting the Samaritans, Limerick and Tipperary, Clare's Wish Foundation in Limerick, and Deal Animal Rescue in West Limerick. And three of my very special guests today are three parts of a much bigger group, as you can see, of young men from the world of Irish dancing who have just taken the world by storm when they put out a series of TikTok videos and got 87 million views on one alone. That's colossal, boys. Who's going to start first? We'll start with Dara Kelly. How did it all start for you?
Yeah, well, I suppose we've all been brilliant friends just through the dancing. You know, I've known Francis and Ronan for the past 15 years. We've danced together with the Hessian School of Irish Dancing. And I suppose we've known each other through competition. You know, we've competed both with and against each other, but always off the stage, we've been really, really good friends. And at the FLA in Ennis in 2017, we decided to start kind of dancing on the street. And we actually got such great enjoyment out of that. And it was our first kind of time coming together as a group of lads and dancing that we said, you know what, we might as well try and make something more of this. So we were kind of just doing the odd bit here and there. But then in July of last year of 2020, we actually started our TikTok account. And that's really when things just started blowing up for us.
Who had the brilliant idea of TikTok? Was it a collaborative thing, or did it?
It was definitely a collaborative thing. I think it was just we were coming out of the first lockdown, and we were saying to ourselves, "Oh, what could we be doing?" And see, the worlds were cancelled as well with the dancing. So, you know, we wanted to still keep it up and meet up as a group of friends. So everyone at the time during the first lockdown, I don't know about you lads, but I most certainly was constantly scrolling through my phone on TikTok for way too many hours of the day. So we were kind of thinking anyways, as a group, do you know what, wouldn't it be great if we could kind of show off our dancing talent and try and do a few quirky things with it on TikTok, because it's an emerging social platform.
Francis, Brian, what was it like when you first started to see the 80s or going from one view to 87 million? I mean, as Dara said, he was glued to the mobile phone looking. I can only imagine I would have probably been awake all night, because every time I'd hear a bleep on my phone, I'd be conscious, Jesus, that's someone else now clicking like. What was it like, Francis?
It was incredible, really. When we posted it, we only had about a few thousand followers, and our most viewed video before that only had a few thousand views as well. And then it just completely blew up, and we saw our notifications were going mental. Really, it was just incredible. And we went live on TikTok as well that evening when Banjo Beats went up. And we just saw the incredible reaction. We were getting so many comments from all over the world. It was really cool.
Brian, what was it like when shows like Holly or hosts like Holly and Philip and Good Morning America, was it that had you on or wanted you on? I mean, what was the feeling like? A group of boys from the west of Ireland, young lads who should still be in competition against each other, suddenly becoming international superstars of dance.
Yeah, it was crazy, really, because I remember when we first kind of blew up on social media last August, and then a couple of weeks later we were on the Late Late Show. We kind of thought, you know, what is next? What else can you possibly do? You know, we weren't sure, would it stay going at all, or would it kind of just die out? And then I think we got a big revival then. Obviously, we were getting good views the whole time, but coming up to St. Patrick's Day, all these opportunities started coming, and it was just unbelievable to be able to represent Ireland in that way. And, you know, even to be able to do it remotely was brilliant. Yeah.
Do you think, Dara, that you would have done it probably if COVID hadn't happened and you weren't forced into having all this time in your hands and being so you're all creative people, you're all in the world of the arts, the entertainment. Did that help you, COVID?
I actually think it really did. And the funny thing is that Corda and our group, like for us, is definitely one of the few silver linings of the pandemic. Because I suppose it gave us such a chance to kind of really focus on the dancing, because life was on hold for everyone. And I suppose as well, the fact that TikTok gained such popularity during the pandemic, because everyone was constantly on social media, because it was really only the way people could interact with each other was through that social media platform. So it really gave us a boost. And as I say, it's one of the few things that I suppose we can be, I wouldn't even say grateful for, but one of the silver linings of the pandemic for us is Corda. Yeah.
But Brian, when you're looking at it, I mean, you've all been involved in the Irish dancing scene and sometimes you take Irish dancing for granted. Certainly when you're competing and you say, "Oh, it's Irish dancing. I'm going to Irish dancing, and that's what I'm learning." But you're learning so much more. You're learning discipline, and you're learning to think outside the box, and you're learning to take criticism and to keep working and working and working and to challenge yourself. Did you find that being involved in something like Irish dancing helped you to kind of look at yourselves and say, like, okay, we're in COVID, we're in lockdown, we can either crumble under the pressure of the isolation, or we can think outside the box, we can work at something else, and until never realizing that it's probably going to be your careers for a while after, certainly a few years after you get out of lockdown.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for all of us, being a part of Corja just challenges us creatively in the best way possible, because every TV appearance we've had, every viral video we've had, straight afterwards, you just have to think, what can we do next to continue to grow and can keep people interested? So we're always coming up with different little video ideas, or planning different routines. Like, we're planning a show at the moment, which is completely insane, that's even a possibility. So yeah, it's been great.
And something, you'd be used to listening to your teachers saying to you, "Do that again, do this again," and that's something that you carried in, Francis, to your schooling as well, because it gave you that discipline in your schooling that you probably wouldn't have if you hadn't been brought up from an early age with Brendan Croghan and Helen and Celine and Gemma and all of them. Constantly telling you to work harder and work harder and work harder.
Yeah, I really think Irish dancing teaches you so many life lessons that you don't really get anywhere else, from discipline, time management, just practicing 3 or 4 times a week, going to competitions, even success, learning how to deal with success and failure, friendships. There's so many different things that Irish dancing has taught us. Like, we've been dancing for 10 or 15 years, all of us, and it's just been incredible. Recently, we've all performed in shows and toured and whatnot, and even that is just another incredible life experience that we would not have gotten anywhere else. And yeah, it's been incredible, really, the journey that dancing has brought us on, and hopefully with Corja now will bring us on another completely new journey that we're all really looking forward to.
Yeah, but and Dara, you look at children. You all started off at 4, 5, 3 years of age. And it's a daunting task to stand up in front of an audience at that age. It's probably, for some people, it's much easier as children, because you don't have that those nerves that you'd have as an adult, because you're not criticizing yourself. You just go up and perform. But it teaches you, as Francis was saying, how to lose and how to win, and how to accept this level of criticism. But it also teaches you how to, from the earliest age, how to stand in front of the stage and have an audience staring up at you. And,
Yeah.
you know, but nothing prepares you for this different type of dancing that you're doing, where you're interpreting to Shakira and performers like that, and you're using your hands, which you've been told for years. Move, keep your hands in by your sides, watch your carriage, mind you, cross your feet. All that's gone out the door with this new form of dance. How did you adjust to the change?
Yeah, I suppose it is quite different in some ways, but I think we all have to remember that all of the skills, or most of them anyways, that we're using to come up with the choreography is from, you know, past set dances, past jigs, past hornpipes, even reels. And
Yes.
just the skills that we've learned through competition, we're just slightly adapting them maybe to fit the music in our own way. And then we're kind of looking at some other dance forms, you know, tap dancing, jazz dancing, throwing in a bit of hip hop here and there, just to try and mix it up, really.
Yeah.
But you made a great point about, you know, being on stage from a young age, and I think we can all safely say that the experience you get from literally being up on stage and dancing for people and just being judged and being knocked and being elevated to wins and falling to losses, you know, it's a great life lesson and it teaches you so much. And I think dancing is really one of the best things any kid can do. Yeah.
And as well as that, you boys now are Cairde, which in Irish is the Irish for friend.
Yeah, Cairde is friend.
And you're now all friends, but at one stage you were competitors, and if you went back into the competitive scene in the morning, if they decided to run the World Championships and you decided we're going back competing, you'd be back competing against each other again. But you've now developed this, but you were always friends in competition, but you had that healthy sense of competition, we know. But if you went on stage with each other in competition, you tend to look, sometimes children tend to look at their competitors as unbeatable, and they walk up on the stage and they say, oh, he won it last year, or he won the world 4 times, I'm never going to beat him, and I'm up on the stage with him. But you could be up with your strongest competitor up at a World Championships, and the whole lot of you could be competing against each, or on stage with each other, not seeing each other as competitors but as teammates. And it's very interesting dynamic that a whole group of lads that at one stage are competing against each other suddenly become teammates, but you've grown up with each other all your lives. Which is very different, like from normal boy bands, if you like, where they're thrown together. You've all been together all your lives.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
that helped you, Brian?
I think it did help. Yeah, competition is definitely necessary anyway, just to keep the standard of dancing up. You know, if you're trying to be better than somebody else, your dancing will improve. But as you said, we were always friends, and while there was that competitive element, I think for lads in particular, you know, we were good at just leaving it on the stage. And once we were off the stage, you know, we had the crack that we have now when there's no competition. So yeah, it was a good starting point for us, because it really brought up the standard, brought up our interest in dancing. And now we're able to show it to, you know, rather than being on the stage below in the Gleneagle dancing at the Munsters for all these dancers, we're now dancing for people who perhaps have never seen it before. So it's great to actually get all that feedback from them now that you wouldn't normally get at a fete.
And as well as that, there's lots of people in the audience, as you say, who have never seen it before and are looking at you all and saying, aren't they absolutely spectacular?
Exactly.
Instead of somebody in front looking to try and find faults when you're judging, you're looking to try and separate one dancer from another. But this is a completely different dynamic. You're looking at you as a whole rather than as individuals. His feet are better than his feet, or he's crossing his feet more, or he's slightly out of time and his timing is perfect. There's none of that when you're on stage now. You're all one unit, working in harmony perfectly with each other, and it's fantastic to watch.
Yeah, it's fantastic to be a part of as well. It just, Yeah, it feels absolutely incredible to be able to get all this positive feedback, because we've had so very little negative feedback for people with the following that we have online.
Yeah.
So to be able to have 6 of your best friends to actually experience that with, you know, and it just adds to it that we actually used to compete against each other. It's something to laugh
But
about, really.
I have to say, you all get my 100.
Thank you very much.
You know? So I mean, you're doing fantastic. But Francis, do you know what I'm really particularly impressed with? And I think, I don't know whether it was your idea, but it's particularly of interest to us here in the station, because I worked as an entertainer in Bunratty Castle for 14 years. I was dancer there for years. And I was very caught up in promoting Irishness and Ireland abroad, not just through the dancing, but when we went abroad, we promoted tourism to Ireland through dance and that. But what I'm really impressed with, boys, is the fact that you use the Wild Atlantic Way as a backdrop to all your dances. That has really struck a chord with me, because, you know, and the fact that you use what looks like, what would you call it? That slate from Clare. What do you call that? I can't think of the name of the slate.
Flagstone, is it?
Flagstone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you use the Burren, and you use all the Wild Atlantic Way as a backdrop. And it was particularly special, Francis, when Holly and Philip commented on the backdrop on the cliffs of Moher.
Yeah, we're so lucky to live in such a beautiful part of the world, like Clare and Galway along the Wild Atlantic Way. There's no better place on a lovely day. And that day, on St. Patrick's Day, the sun was shining down on us that morning, and the views were just incredible. It is a great honour to show Ireland off and our culture in a new modern way to a whole new audience. Our audience is mostly international, from all over, from the States to the UK to Asia to mainland Europe, and it is really incredible. We love to. I think people love to see the scenery and whatnot. So yeah, it's really an honour to be somewhat act as ambassadors for the beautiful country we live in.
Yeah, and that is, and you're wonderful ambassadors, because Brian, the Wild Atlantic Way is, as it says, wild, and it's natural. It's the most natural landscape in the country. I mean, people think of Ireland, they think of Dublin in many respects, because Dublin is over used, and I mean, nothing against Dublin or against Dublin people or anything like that, but it's the part of Ireland people talk about. Ireland, they think of Dublin. But with you boys, you're bringing this wildness, this untouched, unspoiled landscape and this is what we're hoping to do with our station, is that our station is aimed at the Irish abroad and the international audience, and to try and show the west of Ireland, all the west coast of Ireland, the beauty of it, the ruggedness of it, the untouched, the unspoilt view of it. And I think, Brian, you're doing that beautifully.
Thanks very much. Yeah, like as you said there,
to go with the Wild Atlantic Way, or did it just happen after Holly and Philip remarked on the cliffs of Moher would be beautiful? Did somebody just?
Yeah, no, we've actually been doing it for months, really. Yeah, a lot of our videos are set with, you know, the ocean in the background, or just some nice scenery. We really like to kind of break stereotypes, and not just dancing wise, but we like to just show off Ireland, you know, hidden parts of Ireland that people from all over the world wouldn't otherwise see, and Irish personalities as well. We like to, you know, show that we can have the crack in the live streams and just advertise Ireland in the best way possible, kind of covering all areas.
And as well as that, Dara, because you're using a contemporary form of Irish dance, in the sense that you're drawing on everything from tap to jazz to contemporary to Irish, that you're drawing all of that, but yet you're showing all this contemporary form of Irish dance, drawing from all of it, but showing it in the most natural form in Ireland, in its most untouched. So it's kind of like, if you like, it's a juxtaposition because on one side you have here a group of boys drawing from all cultures of dance and all genres of dance, but yet highlighting it in the most untouched part of our country, the most unspoiled, most natural part of our country, which is really unique, I think.
Yeah, it's very unique, and it's funny you say that, because the music we use and some of the styles, it could be, you know, the latest trending song, but we could be on the cliffs of Moher that have been there for millions of years, and you know, it's so Irish. Or even if you have a look at our logo, we have a new logo, and we kind of did a bit of a rebrand, and you have the chords a name, but you have it then written in Ogham writing, and it looks so modern, but yet Ogham is, you know, one of the oldest forms of writing, and it's you know, it's the heart of Irish culture, and that's what we love to do, you know, take Irish dancing and, you know, put a modern twist on it, but still keep true to, you know, our Irish roots, which are so important to us.
You're basically showing the world from this rugged landscape, this unspoiled landscape, comes the influences that Ireland brought to all the dances. Ireland brought influence to tap and to jazz, and you're bringing it back to its very roots. Do you know where you should actually perform, if you haven't already, is in Allowee Caves, down with the stalagmites and the stalactites, and
that'd be cool.
Really hundreds and hundreds of years old, and I mean, down in the caves, performing down in the caves would be just. So, is your schooling gone on hold?
So we're currently juggling everything at the moment. So I think 5 of us are currently in university at the moment. 4 of us are doing 3 of us are doing commerce in NUI Galway. Dara is doing financial maths and economics, and Brian is doing primary teaching in Mary I. So we're trying to juggle everything at the moment, and hopefully finish off this semester and get this year over, and then who knows what will happen in the future. Then I'm in my final year, so I'll be finished, but a few of the other lads I think might be planning a year off or so, but at the moment we're concentrating on getting this year done.
What year, Brian, are you in?
I'm second year. I had you last year for religion.
I'm just saying to myself, I think now I actually recognized you from the religion class last year.
Yeah.
God, yeah, and that was cut short, wasn't it?
Yeah, before it all went online anyway. Yeah.
Everything went on live, and you still managed. You were fantastic. You know, if I had one request for, can you advice? I had about 100. Everyone started to panic when we went online. Yeah. And but yeah, when he said primary teaching, I realized I had you in my class last year.
Yeah.
Not completely about that. Yeah, and Dara, you're into the mathematics brain.
Yeah, I love the maths, and I'm in first year in Galway, and I love my course. And I have to say, we are juggling quite a few things at the moment, but like our routine will be something like we'll get up at 9 and we'll do our lectures until maybe 12 or 1 o'clock, and then we'll dedicate from 1 onwards really just to, you know, making the videos, coming up with the choreography, and doing a few live streams. So it actually does work out quite well. Our days are, you know, they're really packed, but they're really enjoyable too.
But you know, you have careers, future careers, you know, like maths and what maths and what else you?
I'm doing commerce.
Yep.
Commerce,
maths. They're all going to come in handy when it comes to minding your money that you're going to be making, all the millions that you're going to be making, and you won't want to salute anybody then. You'll be just to certainly Brian Colligan will never even admit that I taught electric.
I know I will. I won't forget about Mary I.
Up in Mary I, but so where to from now? If the world went back now in the morning, if the world was on in the morning, would you go back competing in it, or have you said, no, we're moving on?
I think during the first quarantine, we kind of thought we might do another year when it comes back. But when the Worlds were cancelled for a second year, I think we all decided we might just draw a line in the sand there now and move on to, bigger and better things. We're so busy now anyway with Corja. I don't think we'd have time to compete if the world were to go back to normal. So yeah, there's a lot of things kind of in the planning stages at the moment now. The big dream is obviously a show. So hopefully maybe next year. But
And have you an idea, Francis, for a show?
Well, we've teamed up with really good management company up in Dublin, Big and Bright they're called, and we've had lots of Zooms with them and meetings, and there are big ideas hopefully coming soon. We're nothing concrete at all yet, but we would love to put a show together for the 7 of us and have a continue what we're doing, really mix the Irish dancing with different styles and different music, and hopefully it'll go down well in the future when COVID restrictions ease.
Yeah, but trying, it's only a suggestion, is to try and retain that sense of Irishness, that sense of originality, that sense of where it came from, where it all came from. Don't, I just think people can get lost in trying to lose the Irishness and become very national and an amalgamation of everything, and yet you're wondering what's this, where was your origins of this. Hold on to the origins of it, because you have a great package there, in my view, with the Wild Atlantic Way, because tourism is where it is now. After COVID, we're going to be needing every inch of trying to promote Ireland internationally. And you're the boys to do it.
Absolutely, yeah. We don't want to forget where we've come from and how we've gotten to this stage. So yeah, absolutely, we'll keep to our Irish roots.
Don't get too excited about the fact that Shakira has retweeted your videos.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think, like, a year ago we'd all be, and we still are, worshipping these big artists and saying, oh my gosh, they're brilliant singers and brilliant dancers and this and that. But then to be able to get recognition, not from such a wide audience, but from these big, massive celebrities, and even just to be able to show off Ireland and Irish dance and make them aware of it is such an honor for us as well. It's amazing.
And what's so unique about it as well is it's all boys, which is, it's syncopated rhythm, and it's lovely to see the mixed shows, male and female, but it's really nice as well to just show the power of the rhythm through just an all men's group. You're the Irish dancing equivalent to Westlife.
Yeah, that picture there behind you is very Westlife looking now, in fairness.
Yeah, I was just thinking that it looks like Irish dancing equivalent to Westlife.
We've had a couple of people ask us, would we ever, bring girls in? And I think for the moment, we haven't really thought about doing that. Because as I said earlier, we do like to kind of break stereotypes. And one of those stereotypes is that Irish dancing is a girl's thing to do. So it is nice to have 7 lads. Yeah. We think it is good to have 7 lads showing it off in such a unique way.
Well, boys.
One thing over.
What?
Sorry, but I was just going to say one thing over the last few years that kept us going. Like, it's obviously tough for lads growing up, teenagers, doing Irish dancing, but because we were friends together, like such a tight bond, we kept each other going for competitions. We always said, oh, we'll do another year in competitions because of the friendships we had, and now this is where it's brought us. So it's really cool. It
is a cool photograph, isn't it? And the landscape makes it just adds to it. And the guy with what's that lad's name again with the red hair?
Ethan Quinton, yeah.
Ethan.
He looks so Irish.
Yeah, people love that. They love the red hair. Yeah.
like the epitome of Irishness. And but no, it is, and what it does, as you said, it shows just how masculine and how strong and how physical Irish dancing can be. And if any group of people can keep the boys coming into dancing and to seeing Irish dancing as being something that's absolutely on a par or even above level-wise hurling and football. And I mean, you have to be so much more fit, Brian, Dara, Francis, in Irish dancing than anyone ever realizes.
Absolutely, yeah. Sure, the fitness that's needed for a 50-second dance is unbelievable. And you can play a game of soccer for 90 minutes, and obviously you need to be fit for it. But the endurance you need for Irish dancing is so underappreciated. And that's kind of a hard thing to show off because it looks a little bit more effortless than it actually is. But hopefully we're
make it effortless. But I mean,
yeah.
on a pitch, you have a whole team behind you. If one starts to slack or hurts themselves, the rest of the team come in. You're on your own. You're out there for the length of time that you have to dance, and and that's so much harder than anybody will give it credit for. Well, boys, you were just phenomenal, and thank you, Dara, for sending me on the lovely video of you.
No bother at all. No bother at all.
But thank you, Francis. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks a
Thank you
million.
very much.
Thanks
Thank you
to
so much.
keep it up, and I hope you learned something from my class, Brian.
I did learn plenty, yeah.
Keep up the religious studies. Anyway, Shindera Leshan Clor, that's the end of the show for today. Until the next time, Lacuna of Day. Boalam Tugaler Chiacana, Sonas Agus Bra, Agus Gadei Shiv Slán. Slán Awalia. Bye.